Hello and welcome to another video from me, Rough Swordsman, Wargamer. It's an open the box and it's an unboxing of the new printing of a game that's been out for quite a while, and I've never owned a copy of it until today, and I'll tell you why later. But it is, of course, Mark Herman's Washington's War, the American Revolution, another card-driven game, and published, of course, by GMT Games. So let's have a look at the back and see what this is all about. Washington's War is the long-awaited redesign of the original card-driven game, We the People. Washington's War, like its predecessor, pits the forces of a world power, England, against its rebellious American colonists as they fight for their independence. Washington's War is a true redesign that maintains the deep strategy of We the People while creating a game with a very short playing time, approximately 90 minutes. Unlike most war games, Washington's War allows you and your opponent to play twice while switching sides in one sitting. This feature allows for rapid tournament play, either face-to-face or on the internet. Washington's War is the perfect antidote for a time-conscious crowd, whose only options up to now have been Euro games. Washington's War features a dice-driven combat system that quickly resolves combat and is very friendly to internet play. The game also features a new CDG discard mechanic that makes every card in your hand playable by allowing your opponent to buy his discarded events for an operations card. Now, unusual card distributions create challenges and not insurmountable barriers for advancing your strategy. The biggest design changes between We the People and Washington's War, besides the aforementioned new game mechanics, is the increased emphasis on the asymmetrical capabilities of the two sides. The British are a conventional army with a dominant naval capability that gives them great strengths in coastal regions. The Americans are an unconventional force with a small continental army led by George Washington, who yearns for French intervention. While the British struggle to expand their influence inland, the Americans struggle to keep their militia forces in the field. In the end, it is the side that is better able to play to their strengths and protect their vulnerabilities that prevails in Washington's War. Washington's War was broadly tested on the internet in a tournament format to ensure clarity of rules under the stresses of competition. What was old is new again. Be the man on the white horse and father a new nation, or be a king trying to save his empire during a world war. There we go. Here's the map. So point to point, as it says. Some game cards here and the counters. So a little bit more about the cards here. But actually in the box we've got two double thick counter sheets, a mounted 22 by 34 inch map, 110 event cards, two 6-sided dice, Rulebook, Playbook, and 2 player aid cards. Game scale, 1 year per turn, playing time 90 minutes. 2 players, and yes, the map is point to point. Game credits, game designer of course Mark Herman, game developer Joel Toppen, art director Roger B. McGowan, usual crew of producers, and production coordinator Kai Jensen. Card art and map art by Mark Simonich, counter art and map art Harold Leisk, hope I pronounced that right, Harold. Rulebook and Playbook by Charles Kibler, and the package art, design and logo Roger B. McGowan. And on the game meter, the complexity is very low at 3 out of 9, but also the solitaire suitability is very low at 3 out of 9, and was one of the main reasons I haven't owned a copy of this yet. But there is now, thanks to GMT Games and Stuka Joe and his team, we have a CDG solo system for Washington's War, the American Revolution. So very excited to try and use that in the game. Right, let's get the shrink wrap off. The shrink wrap is off, so let's open the box. So here are the rules. Let's have a look at those. Only 23 pages of rules. 24 with the index on the back. So we've got introduction, credits, game components, talking about the map and the area it covers, playing pieces. So the round ones are the combat units. There are standees, as I mentioned earlier, for the generals, but if you don't want to use those, you've got counters. I'll probably use these to make it easier if I decide to video the game. Then you'll see we've got loads of these hexagonal shaped counters, and these are political control, which is one of the main things about this game. Terminology, how to set up the game, abbreviations used, and the sequence of play. And this game only has the one scenario, if you like, the whole conflict. So the sequence of play is broken down here. These strategy cards, how to deal them and reshuffle the deck, how to play them. These are a little different. I think we've only got ops values on them, unlike other card driven games where you might have a choice of using the ops value or an event, but nope, just looks like they're just ops values and sort of what you could do with that value. Use them for placing PC counters as well. There are event strategy cards in the deck. I can hear the Patriots booing from here with this card. How to play these event strategy cards and discarding them, using them as battle cards. Again, I've not read the rules. I'm having a quick look through, giving you an overview, and if you know this game, you'll probably skip this bit, see if there's anything new in the box. But if you're like me, a new player to the game, then it gives you an idea of what's in the rules. Special event strategy cards, movement, advancing generals with the ops card, activating generals with campaign cards, movement procedure, example here. Restrictions on your movement, British naval movement, capturing generals when you're moving. Oh dear, mustn't let that happen. Dispersing the Continental Congress, interception for the Americans only, and retreat before battle, Americans only. Yes, the British would never do that. Reinforcements, British, American, and the battles themselves. But there's a procedure here. Got step 1 to 7. How to determine a general's actual battle rating. There's the combat die roll modifiers. One example being this British regulars advantage. Yeah, +1. They lose it, they lose that +1. Royal Naval support. So it goes through all these. Here, explaining them in a bit more detail. Determining combat losses, how to sort out your retreats, overruns, political control. That's where these PC markers come in. So, a bit more info on those and how to use them. And the political control phase. 3 parts to that. What happens when they're isolated? So great, lots of pictures and examples, brilliant. And then, yes, the good old winter attrition. What happens during that? Hello, here they come. Here are the French. So you've got a French alliance. Consequences of that, because yes, other stuff was going on or about to. The French Navy, and how to determine victory. There we are. The index on the back. That looks interesting. Them's the rules. Next, we have a 16-page, including the back page, playbook. Here we go. First thing we see is an example of play, how to set that up. So going through this example of play, lots of pictures. So you're playing set cards to see how it all works. Quite an involved example of play. So what have we got? So setup, 1775 turn, 1776. This will keep you busy for a while. You to learn the game. And there we are, some player notes. Play to your strengths, some hints, some general maxims. And good old design notes from Herman himself. Yes, a little bit of the history of his game design cue. That'd be interesting to read. And at the back, we've got a setup page to help you do that. And that is the playbook. Next, 2 player aids, one for the British, one for the American player. Some bits are very similar, but we'll have a quick look through them both in case you wish to see what that's all about. Here's the American player aid. You've got similar things here, event cards, discard event cards, and so on. And what you can do, little sort of summaries, a little bit different on the British one, as you'll see. On the other side, we've got your combat DRMs, which I think are roughly the same on both cards. Casualties if you lose, casualties if you win. The French alliance, PC marker isolation, and movement principles. Here's the British player aid. Again, very similar. I'll let you pause the video if you wish to contrast and compare. Down here, we've just got the PC actions. On the other side, we've got combat DRMs for the British and the casualties for winning or losing. Here we've got movement principles and PC marker isolation. Next, we have 2 counter sheets. Here's the first one. We've got the British units here with their strength points. Here's these political control markers. Here are the generals as standees, with the French Navy as another one. But here are the counters that if you don't want to have those standing up on your game board, you can use those instead. And here's the other side with reduced amounts for the units. Here's the second sheet. We've got the American or Patriots, and I dare say those are the French. And the other side. We've got some baggies, and here are the stands if you wish to use them. And 2 appropriately coloured dice. Next, we've got the strategy deck. So let's get those out of the old shrink wrap and have a look at those. So here's the first lot of strategy cards with just using the ops value and what you could possibly do with that. So different amounts, and the pictures are all the same for the value. There we are. Then we've got these special cards that look very interesting. I won't show you them all. We all like a surprise. Swamp Fox. That, there we go. That's the cards. Last thing in the box is the lovely mounted map. So let's have a look at that. Here's the map, as I say, in nearly all its glory. Can't quite get it all in, but it is a very handsome map. It runs, though, from top to bottom, so I've had to put it out lengthwise, and this is how I'll probably play it anyway. So you can see all the areas here broken down. And yes, very pleasant map to look at. I like it. So let's have a little close-up of the map and all the bits and pieces on the edges. So here's the top of the map, if you like, if you have it top to bottom. We've got a box for French reinforcements and American leader reinforcements. Continental Congress dispersed box. Quebec, Montreal here, because here's Canada, of course. Captured generals, and moving further down. So here we've got the ports along the coast, of course. This is, I think, possibly to remind you that those ports are here. There's another one down here. This is a colony control schematic. Use the schematic as a quick reference of state control, so that's handy. Moving further down, we've got the bottom bit of that colony control schematic. Got the map key here. War ends card, British reinforcement box, and along the bottom here, this is where we're going to place cards that'll bring in British reinforcements, like it says when the British player plays. An operations strategy card to bring reinforcements, it's put there, and there are two for the Americans. The first operation strategy card goes there, and the second one there. And right down the bottom, we've got a handy combat resolution die roll modifier table there. We've got the French alliance track and the game turn. And that's it. That's everything in the box. So this has been an Open the Box, an unboxing of the third printing of another card-driven game from Mark Herman. Washington's War, the American Revolution, published, of course, by GMT Games. Well, I hope you enjoyed that and you found it interesting. I'm certainly looking forward to playing this face-to-face when that opportunity arises. But until then, we'll be using the old CDG solo system from Chris Crane. And if you did enjoy it and you haven't done so already, have a think about subscribing to the channel, because it really does help to keep the little channel in YouTube's attention radius. Another good thing to do to help that algorithm is to push the like button at the bottom of the video, the thumbs up. And if you want to be informed of other content the channel uploads, then make sure you push the old bell and then click on all notifications. So what do you think? You can tell me by leaving a comment. If you've played this before, then let me know what's your experience of the game. And if you haven't played it before, like myself, has this now tickled your interest in doing some further research? But let me know, because I love to read them. Thanks as always to my subscribers. Thank you so much. And just before I go quickly, if you wish to support the channel a little bit further, you can. You can buy the channel a coffee. There's a link in the description for that. Or if you wish, just click the super thanks button underneath the video. Those little donations just help the channel to keep ticking along with bits and pieces. So thank you. Right then, with this and the previous video, I should have enough card-driven games to keep me busy for a while until we do the next video, which I hope you can join me for. But until then, as always, you take care and goodbye.